So I'm going to go into what we call the 16 times rule. And the 16 times rule is all about how we can potentially increase the sales of any item by a factor of 16. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we are going to, or you're going to, or anyone's going to increase your sales by a factor of 16. That is not the point. The point is just to show how this works. So it's how to potentially increase sales by 16. The first thing is by what we call the title. And the title, of course, it's for the newbies out there, and apologies for the experienced people, but you know, I've got to try to help everyone out here. The title is the 80 characters that we first, when we list something, we write what it is in an Apple, iPhone, whatever, that's the title. Now, if we can get more keywords to the title, more relevant keywords, we can get more traffic. And if we get more relevant keywords in there, like, you know, I remember once buying a boat really cheaply and someone had forgotten to put in the words boat. They didn't put the words aluminium. It was an aluminium boat with an outboard, and they didn't have the word outboard on it. So, you know, all these, if you don't put the right relevant keywords in there, people don't find it. So if you can get more relevant keywords, and we're going to talk about that tonight, you can potentially double the amount of traffic that you get to your listing. And that's the first part of the 16, which is 2. So you can double the amount of traffic to your listing by having more relevant keywords. And I'm going to get more into this shortly. The next thing is your image. Your gallery image is you're allowed to upload 12 images to eBay. And the gallery image is your first image, and that's the one that shows in the search results. If you can improve that image, you can over double the amount of traffic, because that image is what gives you what's called the click-through rate. If people like your image, they'll click on it and they'll go into your listing. Okay, I'll talk more about that tonight. And likewise, your description, you know, what it's all about. So far we've got 2 times for the title. So it's twice as many people finding your listing. Times 2 for the gallery image, so 2 times 2 is 4. Improving a listing description is another 2. So we've got 2 times 2 is 8. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And the last one is the impression to sale ratio. And that is about how many times people see your listing in the search results to how many times they buy it. This will make more sense shortly. I'll explain what this all means. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. Let me explain. So the title here, so I did a search of Lego. So you can see up here, it says Lego. I did a search on eBay for Lego, and these are all the titles that appear. You're allowed 80 characters. Back in the old days, we're allowed 55, but it must be about, I don't know, 8 years or something now. We've been able to use 80 characters. So that's the title. Okay, so the next one is your gallery image, and this image here is image 1. So you're allowed to upload 12 images. And this is image 1. I'm going to talk about optimizing that tonight. And that's the second part of your 16 times rule. All right, next is your description. So here's a pretty crappy looking description. And if you improve that description, again, you can double your sales. All right. And the last one is the impression to sale ratio. And a good way to explain the impression to sale ratio, in supermarkets, the most expensive piece of real estate are these end caps at the end of the aisles. And the reason why is because the supermarkets know, the shopping centers know that this is it's a very, very expensive piece of real estate, because people, when they walk past here, tend to see this stuff and they buy it. So they only put things that are going to sell here. Now, a good way to explain the impression to sale ratio, every time someone walks past these, looks like frosted flakes, I think it says, they walk past, that's an impression. Every time they stick their arm out and grab one, that's a sale. And they know these frosted flakes have a very good impression to sale ratio. In other words, every time someone walks past, X amount of people are going to buy them. And eBay is the same. It only put up the top of the search results items that are going to sell. So eBay is a public company, it has shareholders. It only wants to show items near the top of the search results that have got a very good impression to sale ratio. So in other words, someone searches for that item, they buy it. And that's an impression to sale ratio. So let's get started with the foundations first. And the foundations are really, so many people don't do the foundations, and it's so critical. The first bit is, how many feedback do you have? If you're a beginner, you really want to get yourself around 20, 25 feedback. And a great way of getting your feedback up is just to change your buying patterns. Instead of driving to your local mall, start buying stuff off eBay. Buy the same stuff. Don't spend more money. I'm not saying go out there and buying playing cards and all sorts of stuff. Just go out, just change your buying habits. If you have a partner, get them to change their buying habits as well. So instead of buying, a toner cartridge for your printer, or a new case for your iPad or whatever from the supermarket, buy it from eBay, and that way you'll get feedback. Because when you buy items and sell items, around 40% of people will leave you feedback. And of course, the other great way of getting feedback is to sell some things. All of us have got some used items lying around, collecting dust. Find some used items and sell them, and it gives you a terrific experience. Most large sellers, we did as well, start off selling used items, and awesome experience. And you turn that stuff into money. So try to get your feedback up to 20, 25 as quick as possible. So feedback is what we call social proof. If you have zero feedback, it really does not look good. It's like going out to dinner on Saturday night to a restaurant. One restaurant's got 50 people. The one next door has got none in it. Zero. Which one do you go to? It's exactly the same. Feedback gives you social proof. 25 is a good place to start. Next, it's what is your username? What is your eBay username? Does it give buyers the feeling of trust and confidence? For example, in Australia, companies like David Jones, the name gives the feeling of trust and confidence. America, Nordstrom. In the UK, Harrods, they give the feeling of trust and confidence. Names that don't give most people the feeling of trust and confidence are things like the Reject Shop, a $2 shop, a variety store, discount store. These names don't normally, for most people, give the feeling of trust and confidence. So get whatever name you've got now, get it surveyed, get a half a dozen family and friends and say, guys, I need your honest opinion. Does this name give you the feeling of trust and confidence? Yes or no? If it does, awesome. If not, change your name. You're allowed to change your name every 30 days on eBay. It costs you nothing. Yeah, so it's a bit of advice on changing names. If you can't brainstorm a name that gives the feeling of quality and trust, and often it's like a surname or something like that, there's a free program called Wordoid that you can use. And another awesome way is, sounds crazy, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it works really well, is get a name from, just go online to a free German dictionary or European dictionary or thesaurus and go through it till you find a word that looks like it gives the feeling of trust and confidence. And people trust European names, especially it's got those little 2 dots above one of the letters. It sounds crazy, but you try it yourself, survey it. We've done it a lot. We've surveyed it online, we survey it in marketplaces, all sorts of places, and it works very well. It's a very quick way to get a name that gives people the feeling of trust and confidence. And also the other thing is, if you want to get yourself a name like a .com domain name, like a .com or .com.au or whatever country you're in, very often that name is available. Once you've got your name done, your next step is to get a professional logo made. And you get logos made these days for $5. You can go to somewhere like fiverr.com and you can get a professional logo made for $5. Really important. And then the next thing critical to do, because there's 3 foundations. The 3 foundations are your name, your logo, and you must get a professional eBay listing template created. It's exactly like if you open up a Chinese restaurant, if you went and leased a building and it's just you walk in the door, it's got a concrete floor, it's got concrete walls, and you chucked in a couple of tables from Bunnings and plastic chairs, you're not going to be able to sell your main course for much money. You might get $15 for a main course. If the next door neighbor opens up a Chinese restaurant, same size building, but they spend $250,000 on it, fitting it out, making it look flash, they could have the same chef, the same staff, the same food, but they can now charge like $30 for a main course. Even though everything's the same, it's just the way it looks. But to get a template made, you can get templates made from $25. You certainly don't need to spend more than $100. You spend less than $100 these days. When we started off, we spent many, many thousands of dollars getting our templates made. These days, you can get them for less than $100. But it's very, very important because it gives people the feeling of trust and confidence. So they're the three foundations that you need to get in place first. And again, it's not hard to do it. All right, so going back to the title. The title is this 80-character title, what on earth it is that you're selling. Very, very important to get the 80 characters and get relevant keywords in those titles. Add more proven converting keywords, relevant keywords. Every extra relevant keyword is more traffic to your listing. How do you find keywords for your title? eBay Auto Suggestion Tool. So the eBay Auto Suggestion Tool, when you type something into eBay, it automatically shows other words. So if you type in solar, it'll show you solar panel caravan, just like Google does as well, and so does Amazon. Also Terapeak. I'm not going to get Terapeak tonight, but I've done it before. But if you want to do Terapeak, here's a link to a Terapeak tool here to show you how to use it. Google Auto Suggestion, again, so you type in something to Google and it auto suggests other keywords. Amazon does the same thing. And then you can compare using Google Trends. So Google Trends is awesome for comparing because you can put in two keywords and it'll show you which one gets the most traffic. That's an awesome tool. So here's the eBay Auto Suggestion tool. I started typing in the word, I just put in SOL, and here it shows on eBay the top searched keywords, straight from the horse's mouth. So I only type in the words SOL, and it's auto suggesting solar panel lights, regulator, iron, etc. It's right there, costs you nothing. Google Trends as well shows you other keywords that are searched for. So Google Trends, you can put in here, like I put in here, solar panel, comma, solar array, and it will compare and show me which one of these keywords gets, or this keyword phrase gets the most searches. And as you can see here, in blue, solar panel is the winner. That gets more searches than solar array. So awesome information. So you can compare competitors' keywords using Google Trends as well. So you can take the keywords from different competitors and you can compare which ones give the most traffic, and you can just use those ones. So just look at your competitors, pluck out their keywords and their titles, and then compare them with Google Trends. Bingo, now you find which ones get the most traffic. Now, the gallery image is the image one, which I mentioned several times. This is the image one that shows in the search results. So you're allowed to upload 12 images, and this is the image one. If you optimize this, you can dramatically improve how many times people click on your listings, the click-through rates, or CTC, that's called in the industry, click-through rate, or CTR. Here we see some optimized gallery images, which has got what eBay classifies as graffiti on them. So bottom line is, when people search for stuff, they've got certain itches they want scratched. And if you can scratch those itches with your gallery image, then you'll dramatically improve your click-through rate. So take the top one here, 120 watt folding solar waterproof. So if that's the top, to get these top bullet points, you go through the bullet points of the item and that's what you put on your gallery image. So when someone's searching for a solar panel and they want, oh, yeah, I wanted a waterproof one, I wanted a folding one, I wanted 120 watts, bingo, there's a high chance they'll click on that. If you don't have any of that, people don't know exactly what you've got, but if the one below has got that stuff, the one below is a lot more exciting. So putting this stuff on dramatically improves your click-through rate. And I'll show you how to do that shortly tonight as well. And your gallery image, it should be 1600 pixels. eBay allows you to do it from only 500, but if you have 1600 pixels, people can click on it and zoom into it. So you should be doing 1600. So the gallery image, you add 3 benefits of you, the seller. And those 3 benefits are normally, you ask yourself why they should buy from you. It's normally you put your logo, you put your flag of your country. So if you're in Australia, you put an Australia flag, and you put something that gives a feeling of speed, like a fast courier, one-day dispatch, or something like that. So you ask yourself, why should I buy from you? And that's what goes on there. And this is often, it's like, yeah, like I said, logo, country flag, or an icon to get a feeling of speed. So ask yourself, top 3 things about you, and then convert the features to benefits using the so what. So the so what principle is so important. Whenever I'm proofing any of my stuff from my staff, any ad copy, I'm always reading so what. So when they write something like stainless steel, I always say, well, so what? Well, it won't rust. So whenever you're reading any kind of benefit always say to yourself, so what? And then answer it. Like, you know, we're talking about like a fuel injection system for a car. So let's say you're on the back of a car, you're following along one day, it's got MPI written on the back of it. You think, so what? Well, if you go into it more, it means it's fuel injected. So what? Well, it's got 30% more power and 25% better fuel economy. Okay, now we're talking. So that's what you want to put on. It's a benefit. So you can easily double the click-through rate to your listing by adding these stuff into your gallery image. Okay, so here's some other examples of gallery images that have been optimized, spelling out what its benefits are. All right, so how do you add this graffiti to your gallery image? In the old days, we used to use Photoshop, but these days you can use Canva, which is free. The great thing about using a free program is that you can have VAs in, say, the Philippines, and they can use it for free without you having to buy a Photoshop license for everybody. How to use Canva? I'm not going to go into how to use Canva tonight, but if you want to know, here's another free video showing you how to use Canva. Now, when you put this graffiti on there, you can get your icons created by a graphic artist, but you can also, if you just go type in, like I did into Google here, Australian approved, you'll see a whole stack of images. So sorry, I missed a step. You type in Australian approved, do a search, and then click on this little images button here. It will show you a gazillion images. Now, all these images, you can click on them, make them bigger, and you can save them on your computer. Now, of course, I have to say, you should always check with the owner of that image to make sure you're allowed to use it. But that's a way you can find and see images for inspiration, if you like. Another thing you can also put on your gallery image is sales. Now, don't put the word sale. People don't believe the word sale. And it's exactly like you go to, say, we walk past a car yard, and the car yard's got the word sale written everywhere. You sort of, your BS goes, yeah, I don't believe that. But if you went back another time and it's like end of financial year sale, you realize, this could be true because it has a perceived end date. An end of financial year sale has got a perceived end of date, i.e. end of financial year, or Easter sale, Christmas sale, whatever. And one that works very well year round is actually season sale. And as seasons change, you can use this for quite a while because people realize in their head that, you know, we are coming to a new season. So again, you can find a lot of season sale graphics, or we call them infographics. Just put season sale into Google, hit search, click on images, bingo, you'll see a whole stack of season sales there for inspiration. And you can go to a place like Fiverr and get one made up if you can't find one. So don't forget, everything I'm going through tonight, learn each task and then outsource it. And I'm not going into outsourcing tonight because I've done that before, but I mean many times before. But here's a link to find, which shows you how to find virtual assistants, how much to pay them, how to train them, all that kind of stuff. If you want to just a quick way to get these links, sometimes it's just if you've got your phone handy, just take a photo. All right, so let's keep going. So with infographics, does your competitor have any infographics on their gallery image? And if they do, are they good ideas for inspiration? Or can you say the so what about them and improve them? So if someone's got something like, you know, stainless steel, can I improve it? Yeah, I can say it doesn't rust. Just by using the so what. And we mentioned eBay listing templates before, how critically important they are. This is the kind of a checklist you should have on your listing template. It should be simple, visually pleasing. Like a lot of people, they overcomplicate things. Think about the most used website in the planet, which is Google, and what do you see? Mostly white. So keep it simple. And these days, over 70% of people use mobile phones or smart devices to buy items. So you can't have something too complicated. So it needs to have your logo, which we talked about how to get done for $5. You know, a flag, a short story. A short story is what we call the elevator pitch. You've got from 0 to the 10th floor only in an elevator, 0 to 10th floor, to explain what on earth this thing is. Everything should have a short story, whether it's a used item or a new item. You should have a short story, only 0 to the 10th floor, explaining what